everyone, welcome back to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you guys for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for your love, for your support. I appreciate each and every one of you that have supported this my YouTube hustle. Actually, don't take it for granted. Thank you so much for all of your support. I appreciate. If you are new to the channel, you're welcome. If you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? I would appreciate if you hit on the subscribe button and then hit on the bell also to get an update whenever I upload a new video. And then if you want to register for my online classes, you can just see my number scrolling through the screen. You can see just scrolling through the screen. Send me a message. Send me a message on WhatsApp. I would appreciate that, and then I'll give you the details of the classes we have presently available. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to cut and sew a female jacket. If you have been following me, you know I love jackets are things that you can just easily throw around and just look so cheeky. So that's what we're going to learn how to sew today. And then this is the fabric that I'm going to be making use of, this lovely beautiful piece of fabric. I have about 2 yards of the fabric here. That's what we are going to be making use of. So now let's just get started. So when we start, as I go along, I'll tell you the measurement that we are going to be making use of. Let's get started. You can follow me on all of my social media platforms: Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram. Like I said, all are stylish. Okay guys, so the measurement I'm going to be making use of today is just two basic measurements I need: the shoulder measurement and then the wideness of the jacket top, which is 40 inches. That's what I'm going to use. And then the shoulder is 15 inches. So that's just basically the measurement that I'm going to be making use of. So my shoulder measurement, I'm going to grab the back piece first and then I'll convert it. After cutting out the back, I'll now cut out the front. It's a very simple project. This is a beginners friendly project. So half of 15 inches is 7.5. I'll place it here and then I'll just mark half of an inch for my shoulder allowance. And then from this line, I'm just going to come down by half of an inch. You can do 1 inch, but half inch is still okay. And then I'll just slope it into that point. And then the next thing I'm going to measure now is half of my armhole. My armhole is 16 inches, so you divide that into two. I'll have 8 inches. So I'll mark my 8 inches here. I'll just join this line like this with my ruler, and then I'll mark this line. So this line now is my armhole line, which automatically still serves as my chest line. So the next thing I'm going to mark, I'm going to come out from this by quarter of an inch. So I'll just mark it that way and then I'll place this like this. So I'm trying to draw a very nice curve for my armhole. Okay, so this actually serves as a guide for me. So the next thing now, we're going to insert our bust measurement. So for this dress, I'm actually not adding any dart to it. I'm not going to add any dart. I just want it to be looking square like this. So the bust is 40 inches, which is divided into 4. You have 10 inches. So I'm going to come here. I'll add 2 inches as my allowance. And then what I have here, I'm going to bring it to my under bust point. And then I'll bring it to my waist point, which is like the half cut. So I'm going to, these lines, I'm so sorry, this is my bust point line, this is my under bust, and then this is my half cut. So from shoulder to my bust line is 10, from my shoulder to my under bust is 13, and then from my shoulder to the full length of the jacket top is 19 inches. It's actually 18. I just added an extra of 1 inch, so you can see 19. So that's just basically, so I'll just extend this a little bit, my curve, and then from here I'll just mark it straight down so you can see. Like I said, this is a simple beginners project. The next thing, we're going to add our neckline to it. I'm just loving and enjoying this tutorial. So our neckline for the back is 3 inches wide, and then I'm just going to come down by 1 inch. I would mark this, I'll just connect this with my ruler, with my curve like this. Okay, so we're good to go. So the next thing now is just for me to cut out the back, and then I'll transfer this to my fabric. I'll cut out the back first, and then I'll use this to cut out the front. Okay, so this is the back piece. So I've cut out the back already. So I just added about 1 inch to the side seam for the back piece. So for the front piece, because it's going to have buttons at the front, I'm going to add about 2 inches for my button for the front. So I'm just trying to, okay, I'm just trying to arrange my fabric properly. So that will serve as my zip, as my button allowance. I don't want the buttons opening, and then I don't want them too big. Okay. So we'll check. I'm just going to check. Make sure that I have my 2 inches all over. So that is okay. So the next thing, I just added just 1 inch to the down part. So I'm going to cut out now. So I'm going to put a notch at that allowance point, both on the top part and the down part. And then I'll open it up. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cut out my lining. So this is the lining I'm going to be making use of. I'm going to cut out my lining, and then I'll cut hairstay. I want to add hairstay to the body of my dress. I'll cut out the lining, cut out my hairstay, and then I'll go and iron my hairstay on my fabric piece. That's my main fabric. I'll iron this, and then I'll bring it back and show you how it will look like. Okay, so before I cut out the back neckline, I want to add the front neckline. So the front neckline is a V neckline. So I'm going to make use of the same wideness. The only thing I'm going to add is the length of the neckline. So for the length, I'm just going to measure, place it on my shoulder and just measure how deep I want it to be. So I'm going to go with about 7 inches. So this is my 7 inches. I'll mark the 7 inches here, and then I'll just connect it to this point like this. So that's my 7 inches. So the next thing now, I'm going to cut out the back neckline. So I'll place this here like this, and then I'll cut out. So I cut out the back piece. So I cut it both with the lining. I'm going to cut out the front neckline now. So for the front, I'll place it like this because of the extra that I have. So I'm just trying as okay. Just make sure that it is staying on the line, and then I'm just trying to double check. Okay, so I'll cut this out now for my front neckline. Okay, so I'll go and iron all of my interfacing, like I said, and then I'll come back and show you how to weave them, to stitch them rather. Okay, so we're going to start stitching now. So I'll show you. So I finished ironing all of my interfacing. So I'm going to join my side seams together. So this is my back piece. This is my front piece. So I'll join, take the side seam like this. I'll stitch it, and then I'll take the other side of the front side seam also like this. I'll stitch it, and then I'll do the same thing to the lining, and then I'll come back and show you how to join the lining to the fabric. Okay, so I finished joining the lining and the fabric. That's, I've joined them separately. So I place them right side facing right side right now. So how I'm going to stitch this now, I'm going to start stitching from the down. So I'm going to stitch the whole down. Just make sure that everything, that they are the same, that the side seams are matching. You understand? So I'll stitch everything around. I'll stitch the neckline like this. So the only part that is going to be open is my armhole area. These are the armhole. I'll make sure that these two neckline now, they align properly like this. And then I'll stitch the front ones also. I would stitch, and then I'll take it to my ironing table and give it a good ironing, and then I'll bring it back and show you. Okay, so guys, I finished stitching. I've turned them together. So the shoulder part, as you stitch along, you join them. You join the shoulder part. So you can see I've joined them, and then I've joined the neckline. So from this armhole now, I'm going to push this out, and then I'll take it back and iron it properly. Okay guys, so I have finished stitching. I've joined them together, so you can see the way the inside looks like. So you can see it's so neat and clean. Okay, so remember the 2 inches that I made before. So on that part, I just ironed a hemming gum inside. So I just folded it in that 2 inches that we added, the extra 2 inches we added to the front piece. So you see I folded it inside. That's after stitching. I folded it inside. See this one on this side also, and then I just pressed it down to make it lay flat. So this is how it's going to be. So on this point now, if you want to put your normal buttonholes, you can just insert your normal buttonholes. But mine, I want to add press buttons. I want my buttons hidden. I don't want to put normal buttons to make it obvious. So I can use this as a jacket. Anytime I don't want to button it, I can just open it up and just throw it on. So that's why I'm doing it. So that is why I named it a jacket top, so you can see. Okay, so we're almost done with this. So what is remaining now is just for me to add the sleeve. So for the sleeve, before we add the sleeve, we're going to add down bow tie on the neck part. So normally you can see that my neckline, I finished everything up because I want it to be neat. That's why I did this. I don't want it to have any rough edges where I'll have to start using overlock. So what I'm going to do now, this is my fabric, the entire 2 yards. That's the full length is 2 yards. So I'm going to cut out a piece of fabric that I'll use for that neckline. So I'll do that right now and then show you. Okay, so this is the fabric I'm making use of. So I have about 35 inches as for the length. So what I did this side, I just slanted this side out. Just create it like a slant here. And then if you notice the way this bow looks like, on this edge side is wider than this side. So what I did on this side, I just measured about 2.5 inches. So that 2.5 inches, what I did, I just like slanted it like this. So as I'm going, I'm just opening my hands, and then she got to the edge of my fabric. So at the end of the day, the top is 2.5 inches, while this side is 1.5 inches. So I'm going to cut this out now. So you can see what I have. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take this back to my machine. I'm going to sew it and turn it. So I'm not putting any stay on it. Just sew it and just turn it. Okay, so I have finished stitching my bow, so you can see how beautiful it is looking. So I just had a little point here. So now in fixing it, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take this point. This is the center of the back. I'll place it on the center here, and then I'm going to stitch it all across my neckline. So that is why I closed up the neckline, so you can see it's just going to have a straight stitch and it's going to be neat. I'll just stitch it across, and then once I get to a little part of the front neckline, I'm just going to leave it. So I will just come extend from the shoulder. I'll just extend it to about 2 inches, and then I'll leave this. I'm not going to stitch it all the way. I'll leave this and then do the same thing on the other side. So that's for that. Then for the sleeve, so I'm going to use the remaining of my fabric for my sleeve. So I'm just going to measure. So I have about 22 inches here. That's the wideness. So what I'm going to do, I'm using everything. Okay, so the wideness of the fabric that I'm going to be making use of is about 23 inches. So I'll use about 22. And then from this part, I'm just going to make a round curve. It is a normal round big puff sleeve. So I'm going to puff all of this up and then puff the down up. Okay. So for the down, I'm actually not really reducing. So I'll just reduce, since it is 23 on this part, I'll just reduce this part a little bit to about 21. So from this point, I'm just going to go and do this. So this is how I normally do my puff sleeves. Okay, so I'll cut out now. Okay, so this sleeve is really going to be big. So this down part, I'm going to add an elastic casing to the down part. Okay, so for that elastic casing, I'll just use about 1 yard, sorry, 1 inch. So that's literally what I'm going to do. I'll take this back to my machine and then I'll fold this down like this. Just create a case around it. And then on this part, I'm going to gather this part like this to fit into my armhole part like this. So I just gather everything I have here, let it fit into my armhole, and then I'll put elastic at the down part. So I'll gather that and then come back and show you how to do the elastic case in. So I'll cut out my lining now. I want to puff very well. Okay, so I finished fixing one of my sleeves. Okay, so it's remaining this one. So this is how you, after adding your elastic at the down part, you're just going to make sure, I'm going to start fixing it from the down, and then when I get to, I left about 2 inches from the shoulder, 2 inches. So it's from this point, that's where I'm going to create all of my gather. So once I stitch it up to this point, what is remaining here, I'm just going to pleat it to fit into this point. So that's that. And then once I'm done, I'll sew my buttons, my pressing buttons on it. So for the pressing buttons, I'm going to put as much as I want, because I want it, I don't want it opening. So I'm just going to put like about 6 or 7 inside, and then I'll place this on the mannequin for you to see the final look of our jacket top. Okay guys, so at the end of the day, you can see how our jacket top looks like. It actually came out really fine. So you can rock this as a blouse, you can rock it as a jacket. So that's why I did hidden buttons inside. So thank you so much. If you find this video helpful, please hit on the like button. If you have not subscribed already, please, I would appreciate if you hit on the subscribe button. Thank you so much. Share this video with your friends.